I made the mistake of posting an eye-rolling tweet about how the season's mysterious big bad isn't going to be the Valiard, a villain associated with a charismatic performer, which looks to devoted fans like a dangling loose end in the series' mythos, but whose backstory doesn't really make any coherent sense in the broadcast episodes, let alone invites further forensic investigation. With the passing of Michael Jaston, the already thoroughly remote prospect of this complicated enemy being returned receded further into the darkest recesses of possibility. Replying to another fan, I agreed that it was equally unlikely that we'd be seeing Fenric or the Rani or Harrison Chase or the Dravins. Ha 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 ha, well done to me. Except that I started that list with Sutekh. Now, on reflection, Sutekh is one of the few bad guys from the classic series whose return does make sense. Pyramids of Mars is a very well-remembered story, not least because it was one of the first ones released on VHS, from the most highly regarded era of the show. But there's nothing about him which particularly needs to be explained to the new viewer. Partly because he wasn't invented by Robert Holmes, who was riffing on Hammer horror versions of the Mummy's Tomb and flipped through the big boy's book of Egyptian mythology to find the right name. Partly because everything you need to know is right there on the screen. And yeah, this does feel like the Russell T Davies Stolen Earth / Army of Ghosts / Bad Wolf playbook with a certain amount of narrative vamping in the early going and then an acceleration into a mind-blowing reveal at the end. That isn't a particularly difficult bit of writing, but neither is it trivial. While this makes it look easy, let's not overlook some of the grace notes in the writing and the directing. The time window is a wonderful device, brilliantly executed. The agony of not quite being able to see the face of Ruby's mother is exquisite, and just how far away were those security cameras? The Sutekh gag is delightful, as is Unit's casual dismissal of the S-Triad anagram. All the characters pop, maybe except for Rose, who doesn't get much to do here, but I loved the new 13-year-old scientific advisor, and I adored Mel telling the Doctor to get his shit together. But of course, and by design, this is all build-up and no payoff. And a build-up is easier. If this doesn't all come together next week, that could well tarnish this episode's reputation. I liked Dark Water a lot more before I'd seen Death in Heaven. But for now, for the ascent to the top of the roller coaster, this is faultlessly done with all departments firing on all cylinders. So once again, it's the full 5 stars from me.